Hey guys, it's Mario, and I am going to do another little tiny guide. I know I said the next ones were going to be TVZ, but they are coming, I promise. Give me like 7 days or less, most likely less, to do that. I just wanted to show you a awesome game, and it is part of the strategy that I used. So this is Korea. I am not Grandmaster on Korea yet. We will get there. I'm actually quite high. I think I'm in the top 50 out of all the masters, which is pretty damn close to Grandmaster. I'm not too far off of Korean Grandmaster, so awesome. I'm working on it. But being this close allows me to play Korean Grandmasters on a regular basis. So that's fun. Yeah. So what we're going to show you here is a little bit of an expansion, some things you can do with the build opening I gave you. So there are many things and tweaks you can do with the build. You see, the build is designed to get you somewhere safely in a position where you can maybe take your third or do a lot of pressure. But there are many variations that you can do in the build to further become, or for the different strategies. You can mix it up. And I'm going to show you a wonderful variation. And I'm going to show you how to respond to Pheonix. So that's nice. What we're doing in this game is we're gonna watch this only from our point of view. You see the barracks, just normal. Here's the gas geyser, 15 supply. Everything is normal. The barracks was just a little bit late because I used the SCP to scout down here before I placed it. Something I'm trying out, but it's not too noticeably. And because it was a little bit late, we're only getting one Marine. And here's the reactor. So those are the only changes. We're still scouting with the SCV. We just saw this a little bit faster. I wanted to cover my bases. It was a Korean Grandmaster. You never know what they're going to pull out of their ass. But, as I said, 406, it's 410. There is definitely a Nexus, and it's got 281 HP, so it's relatively fast. It's not that slow. Come to think of it, the only reason it's not faster is because he got a mothership core before it. So if it's faster than 410, 281, it means if they didn't get the mothership core right away, and that means that at 420 it'll be like 400, 400, or yeah, 420, 420. So 420, see, it's just a little bit behind, so they got one thing, which is most likely the mothership core. So back at the base, we did everything normal. If you look back, sorry, I'm skipping a little bit to the good part because it's a little bit of a long replay. But if you go back to the build order in the first and second video, you can see, after the reactor, we get the command center, the factory, the supply depots as you need them. So it goes supply depot, barracks, gas, one marine, reactor, supply depot, command center, factory, supply depot. And it is very specific. You do have to follow it. Yes, it makes you safe. There are some things we accidentally mixed up here. There's just one tiny thing. We got a tech lab right away on the factory. The reason we did that is we weren't thinking. We knew we needed the Widow Mine right away. And to be honest, we should get it in just a moment. Like, we get the siege tank, and then we're like, oh yeah, we need the Widow Mine when we scan them. So that actually put me a little bit behind. If I stuck to the build order, I would have already had this Widow Mine. I would have been a bit farther ahead. Why are we getting an engineering bay? Well, I was thinking maybe we get a star point, but I also have so much economy, and I know he's got another base. It's not Oracle I'm really too worried about. I've been thinking about getting an engineering bay just for one missile turret in case of a Pheonix. So here's the engineering bay. We move over. We put the Widow Mine on the outer expansion because we're going to put a missile turret right here. And we got a lot of Marines here defending the mineral line. And we actually saw a Pheonix, and the Pheonix ended up dying to the Widow Mine. So that's awesome. He didn't open Oracle, and we killed one of his initial Pheonix. Since we did, we knew that there wasn't going to be another one crossing the map anytime soon. So, like, here they are, preventing drop. So the missile turret was a little bit delayed, which is fine. Here's the starport. So we didn't actually need to get this. We could have just gotten a Viking or two and kept some Marines in the back, but I wanted to get it anyway. Getting the double gas geysers. I'm getting these before the 2 and 3 factories. Normally I get them after. I'm getting them before because I am going to go into a very heavy Hellbat drop tech. So you can see the armory dropping down right away. Normally I don't drop the armory this fast. I get it after I get the third, depending on the situation. But if you see Phoenixes, Thors are a really good way to fight them. I'm not getting one yet. You see, I need to use this factory, and I want to make Hellbats. I don't want to make Hellions right now. So I'm getting Blue Flame. I'm getting Siege Tanks at the armory. I'm using the barracks as a as a place to get a reactor for my starport, another tech lab, and then the reactor. So I can make 2 Thors at a time, Hellbat, and 2 Vikings. Why? Because a lot of players, what they do is when they go for Phoenix, more often than not, they're either going to transition into Tempest, which Thors and Viking are the counter, and then Hellbat into a Mineral Dump, Carrier, which same counter, or they go Phoenix Colossi, which same counter, because relatively you need some siege tanks, but you can get like 4 or 5 Thors to help tank, because they're not going to have immortals, so Thors are going to be super, super beefy, and then the Vikings can kill the Colossi, and there's a lot to splash the Phoenix, and then you're going to have Hellbats to dump, because they're spending so much gas on Phoenix and Colossi that they actually do not have enough tech for like Storm or something for until the late game. And we also are keeping an eye on when he gets his third. Very important. We want to know when he gets his third. So here's the Thor, 2 Thors at a time, 2 Hellbats. We put the barracks out of the way, because we're going to be using the add-on in a little bit. And in a moment, we're going to start producing Vikings. The Vikings are very important because here he is, he's completely taking out of it, so he's exchanging Colossi for Storm. So he's not contributing to a massive air army. We don't know this yet, but that also means that once we scout it, we can do a nice, wonderful transition. So 2 Phoenix, or 2 Vikings. We got the plus attack going. He's got the plus armor going. This is awesome. He has no idea we're going mech because we hit our buildings in this corner. So he's actually going an anti-bio build, which has no effect on us. We get a sensor tower out front. Why are we getting the sensor tower and why are we walling off? No third. Probably an all-in. We don't have to grab our third until they do theirs. We are dropping a command center because we're approaching max SCVs on each mineral line. 20 here, 19 here, so many minerals we can transfer soon. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a command center, and then if he still doesn't keep getting a third, we're just going to cut workers. Once we're 24 here, 24 here. And, then we're not concerned because we know we've got the maximum amount of efficiency on 2 bases. We're not exposing a weakness because he hasn't grabbed his third. We're not grabbing our third. I mean, we have it, and then the moment the fight is over and he drops a nexus, we just move it over and we're instantly ahead. Because ours is already done. We already have the mules and we have the amount of workers we need to transfer. Here's another armory. Why am I getting another armory? So this is where the build changes. Besides the Thors, this is where the build changes according to the YouTube. So we have verified, okay, so we scanned his base, and we know, Phoenix, whatever. We know that there's no third. So if there's not going to be a third, what are they doing? Well, they're either going for, like, mass air, which is unlikely on 2 bases, because they're not going to have enough gas for air and Templar, which means we're just going to destroy him because we have Vikings and Marines. So if you went pure air, the Viking Thor Marine would just destroy him. It wouldn't even come close. So we automatically win if it's that. The only other thing he could possibly do is transition into ground. So I completely lost my train of thought. So since he's most likely transitioning to ground, and we already have some siege tanks, if he's investing a lot into air, he's not going to have a lot of gas, and it's going to be a lot of zealots. So here we can see he's kind of poking outside of the base. We're getting another starport, and we're getting another reactor. So we know that he's probably going to be zealot heavy. We see the third. Okay, now we know we're pretty safe to expand. You decided you're not going to all in. Use an illusion. So what we're doing is we're spending the majority of our minerals on Hellbats and our gas on upgrades, and in a moment, medevacs. We scanned his army just to confirm. We see so many zealots, so yes, we were able to guess correctly. So we knew he wasn't going to be gas heavy on a lot of things. He was going to be very mineral heavy. He only had 4 gas geysers, not 6. We scanned his base just to confirm. Again, make sure the Stargate isn't building. You always want to confirm. You always want to be sure what are they going. So the Stargate's not building. We see lots of gateways, lots of zealots. We know it's going to be like a Templar zealot composition. And we even see the High Templar here. So we know Hellbats are the key. So what we're going to do is just stick right on this path. We're going to produce so many Hellbats. So here's double upgrades, double medevac, Hellbat. We push out just a little bit. We know we've got a strength, so we could probably do a lot of damage to him. So we have the opportunity to do a timing push because all we saw was a few zealots and a few High Templar. Or yeah, with a few zealots. I don't think we actually saw any High Templar yet, so we weren't sure if he had Storm. So we gather up, make it look like we're posturing for an attack. Okay, let's scan ahead. Always scan ahead. You want to know what's there. We decide, you know what? We could probably kill that. There's a lot of zealots. We've got blue flame. We've got +1 attack, but we can't actually be 100% sure. So we're gonna take the safe route. We're like, okay, we've got so many hellbats. Let's fuck with them. Let's legitimately fuck with this Protoss. So we go back. We have a lot of medevacs, and what we're gonna just start doing is just producing a shit ton. And we're gonna get extra factories. We're gonna get another command center. So the command center is we know we're not gonna go past 3 bases.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So we know we're not gonna get past 3 bases. For the time being. We're not getting a fourth unless he's going to get a fourth. We're going to stand even tech and harass him as much as we can. We're going to force him to overextend and stay busy. Why? Because the less cash he has invested in his army, the stronger our army is. Although the Terran army ultimately, with the final composition against final composition, is better in Terran's favor. Um, until you get to that stage, just like a ladder. Okay, so it's better for Protoss, or it's better for Terran on 1 base, better for Protoss the moment they get their 2 bases, because it's harder for the Terran to expand. And as long as you're on even bases, the Terran army should be stronger. And as long as you don't push out with your entire army, if you're on even bases, more often than not, you are at an advantage. So the upgrades are finishing. We got 2-1 finishing up. And we're beginning to produce some siege tanks again. Why? Well, we already have 3 Thors and we have a lot of Vikings. We've got a lot of anti-air, a lot of Marines. So we're repairing these medevacs and we're filling up the medevacs. And we're getting ready to really mess with this person. We gotta keep the upgrades going. Here's some more medevacs we're building. So now we know, okay, we're gonna turtle on 3 bases. So once we lose some of our units in these traps, what if he does a counterattack? What's a great way to destroy us? Well, we can't split as often. It's going to be really hard to split, and harass is going to be really difficult with, and we're going to have to posture our army into one single army, which is one of the reasons we got the sensor tower. We need it to be together, and we need to control ground. So if it comes all at once, we don't have to split anywhere else. If there's like a war prism here, and I have units up here, and I have to split off a bunch of hellbats, and there's no way I can hold a third. There's absolutely no way. So what we're going to do is get a bunch of missile turrets on this side, and a bunch of missile turrets on this side. We've got an extra command center, and here he comes to attack. And we feel confident that we can go drop him. Why can we go drop him? All of his army is right here, and it's very, very melee heavy. Very melee heavy. And we don't have to split our army. We know what's on the map. We've got Marines around the map looking for proxy pylons and whatever's coming. So we know there's not a pylon nearby. And if there is something that comes, we got a sensor tower. We can raise the wall to buy some time and just repair and not pull the units away, maybe pull like 1 unit away, or just not pull them away until we've dealt with this army. So our response is, okay, it's very ground heavy, we can drop you, your entire army's away, 5 medevacs full of hellbats is going to do a shit ton of damage. Now how can we make sure we survive? Well, we have to have our army in a bolster, in a pack, even though we're completely capped on supply depots. What we're going to do is drop some supply depots and some missile turrets just in case he comes in with a war prism or something, and he does have one, I think, somewhere over here. But just because, just the missile turrets is to help build space. And you can also use them for detection later. Maybe he goes air later. So you don't want to go like pure supply depot because maybe he's got like a dark Templar later or something. And this gives you extra detection range. So we lower the amount of space the zealots can walk, and then they're walking into a concave. We're moving, okay, so we're going to move these siege tanks a little closer. They were very far out of the way. We need them in the fight. And look, watch the zealots melt, because they're coming in, and they're being filtered into the hellbats, even though we're also in a great position to be stormed. If it's just the Templar that comes up, we move just a step back so the tanks can kill the Templar. And then, he just lost so much coming up there. There was no way he was going to be able to break it with this much filter in between the Thors in front, the Hellbats in front, and some medefacts. So at the same time, we decided we're going to drop him. His army isn't here. And you can see that his worker count is just starting to plummet. Like, he's taking so much damage. And it's going to be really hard for him to stop so many. So we leave some Hellbats here to do damage. We go ahead and drop up ahead. We want to do as much as we can. We see the Robotics Bay, we see the Dark Shrine. I don't think I actually click on it, but we have plenty of detection all around. So we leave some Hellbats over here. So now we're trying to stretch him out, trying to get him to work in as many locations as we can, taking all these Hellbats. And they're pretty much fodder. You don't really want to lose the Medivacs. You want to pull them out, but he's doing a good job about sniping them. And now we're 20 workers ahead. And then the rest of this game is going to be just like that. We're going to send out drops all around the map. We're going to scout with our units. We're going to see, okay, where exactly are you? What are you doing? How much can we pick you apart? He ended up accidentally loaded up a Thor, and it's going to be denying a fourth. The moment he drops a fourth, we can send a massive drop over. Here he comes. And in the meantime, we're just replacing with Medevac, Tank, Hellbat. So we're bolstering our ground army because we know he's going for a ground army. We're sending some units to go. Okay, so the Thor is going to down here and clear some pylons. The Hellbats are going to go up here and attack. The Marines are going to go up here and attack. Deny the fourth. We know he's not taking this base. So we're going to deny the fourth, drop some extra command centers. Why? We're not expanding yet. But we can in just a minute. Once his fourth is established, you can transfer this over. And it can be sooner if you're 100% confident you can hold it. But once his fourth is established, so here's his fourth, we're going to transfer this over, and we're going to go ahead and make a planetary. And here's 2 barracks for EMP. We're going to be making EMP soon. But you cannot get ghosts faster with this type of build. So we deny the base. Awesome. It's worth the minerals because the longer we deny this, the less gas he has, the more minerals he's going to have, the more Hellbats are effective. And we have no problem with minerals. We have plenty of orbitals, we have plenty of SCVs, and if we hold this, we have so much more minerals available to us to mule. Here comes another drop while he's busy over there. So that was the point, deny the fourth or keep him busy while we kill a bunch of workers. And we've killed 55 workers now. We just rocket boost away. We don't need to keep staying there. Our goal is just to kill as many workers as we can. So we're going to load up another drop in just a minute. So we got 4 medevacs out at a time. So there's a 4 over there, 3 over here. There was a 4th, but I think he killed it. We're getting a command center over here. Why are we getting this command center? Because we're getting 2 command centers over here. We're funneling his army. So as a mech player, you never want to split up your army if you can help it, unless it's to harass. But you don't want to use it to defend. Because if you funnel your army to defend, then he's stretching you out of the way, and it's easier to snipe your core. What you're doing here is stretching him, and it's easier to snipe his workers. So your main army is never actually a threat. You can always defend behind planetaries if you still have a huge army behind, but if you lose your whole army, you're dead. So you can't do that. So double planetary over here, just in case he comes to attack from this direction. We're going to set 1 planetary here, just in case he attacks from this direction. Where can he go? Over here. Well, we've got a sensor tower. That kind of only leaves this option. We've also got a sensor tower. So wherever he goes, not only can we see it in advance, in at least 2 locations out of 4 possibilities, we have a planetary. And another sensor tower here. Even though we're covering this range, we want an even farther range. So we're just trying to drop. We're not over dedicating. We know, okay, we saw a Templar here. There are Templar stalkers here. We scanned in advance, trying to get the medevacs out. We're just trying to make sure we kill as many workers as we can. So he's busy over there. We come over here. He's down to 20 workers. Kill the Dark Templar. We were attacking over here. We're trying to get the medevacs out. We're trying to keep them. You don't want to lose gas-heavy units. So the less gas you lose, the better. And as I mentioned, this is the way he chose to attack. The sensor tower saw it in advance, and then this extra sensor tower, although 100 gas and a large investment, we can now see any warp prism even farther, and we can see if he's got anything to check this base. So we're attacking this nexus, He's taken so much damage, and because we never sent our core army, we're very Hellbat heavy light. Every time we lost Hellbats, we replaced them with siege tanks. So right now we have 20 siege tanks, and that is a large amount. We're producing 3 at a time. We've got almost up the upgrades. Plus 3 is almost done. He can't attack over here, so why are we sieging right here? Okay, well, we're going to hit anything that comes down the ramp. So automatically it's going to get hit by the siege tanks, the Vikings, and the planetary fortress. We don't need to make sure that he can't just run through, because if he runs through, his entire army gets shelled, and then he's not even strong enough to kill the planetary. We can unsiege and kill him. And if we siege here, we can cover a large portion of his walkway. So we siege up, we make sure we try to scan so we can shell his army from afar, from behind the buildings. We're behind the barracks and stuff. We need to move this orbital command out of the way. It'll hinder our siege tanks. You remember this planetary? This is now slowing down his army from running by. We're only unsieging a few tanks at a time. and pretty far away from his army. Yeah, he might get the planetary. Yeah, he might escape. Doesn't matter. We're not focused right now on engaging his army head on. We're just focused on minimizing the damage because we're so far ahead. We don't actually need to engage him head on yet, not until we're maxed. So we're just trying to do some damage, split up a little bit, with the Vikings so they don't get just stormed, so they kill the Colossi. And we have so many siege tanks here, the Immortals, they don't really do anything. We have a lot of damage, so you can just see them. There's just a lot of splash coming out, so the shields die really fast, and that's game over. So just remember, these are some basic things. 3 factory, armory. You don't have to get the armory right away, but if you get it delayed until you're on 3 bases, you might want to go double upgrade or very Hellion heavy aggressiveness. Um, the 3 factory starport is just a way to get you to your third base safely if you want to take it. If they don't have a third base, you don't want to take it. And then you can change up what you go. Are they going heavy Archon Immortal? You throw in Ghosts. Are they going heavy Zealot heavy? You can get an extra starport, get some medevacs, drop around the map. Especially if they're not going air. If they don't have a lot of air, this is a really powerful strategy. And if they are going air, then you can get a second reactor. Like, what if they try to go like three base Tempest or 3 base Carrier? Well, then just do what I did here and just produce Thor, Hellbat, 2 at a time, and then 2 Vikings. And then just target fire the Carrier. But what if you don't have enough gas to support all this? Just make Hellbat Viking. As long as you have a few siege tanks or a few Thors, they can hit stalkers or units that are trying to kite. If Colossus is trying to kite, your Vikings will kill it. If it's like Stalker trying to kite, maybe you throw in 2 medevacs to help against that, so that they can heal Hellbats up front, stuff like that. So the first 2 videos are a template, and I'm going to show you many different ways of actually using the template. So this is a Korean Grandmaster. I think in like above 150. So that's actually really good. So he's one of the top 150 players in all of Korea. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed.